Welcome to Dropping In, a podcast of storytelling and interviews with your host, Winter Olympian Mercedes Nickel.
Thank you so much for dropping in today. This is series 10. Now, I've had a lot of Whistler kids on this podcast, which is so amazing because obviously, if you've listened for a while, I live in Whistler. This is my hometown, Whistler, British Columbia, Canada. It is a mountain town, it is a resort town, but we also do have a thriving community here of athletes and amazing humans. But not only athletes, I've chatted to a diverse group of Whistler kids that came out of this small Canadian mountain town, from writers to business leaders, Olympians, all around amazing humans. And today is no different. This is episode 86. Let me introduce the guest that I will be dropping in with today. Our next guest is a skier that I'm pretty sure you will not be able to keep up with. She grew up in Whistler as a member of the Whistler Mountain Ski Club from 84 to 92. She's a record holder for the CSA Provincial Division downhill with 3 consecutive wins. She was a member of the the BC Provincial Ski Team, competed in NORAMs and national events. Now, once she was done with that stuff, she competed in big mountain competitions, winning the local Couloir Extreme Race and 2 Peak to Valley races. We will get into that with her later. She was the Whistler Pro Tour champion in 94 and 96. She was a member of the UBC varsity ski team. She now spends weekends in Whistler as an exclusive ski guide for Whistler Blackcomb. So I get to see her up there a bunch, which is nice. She is an all-around athlete. You can find her mountain biking, hiking, swimming, sailing when she's not on the snow. Fun fact, her dad is my godfather. This mother-daughter athlete, big mountain skier, knows what it's like, knows what Whistler's like, the back of her hand. Like, she knows it. So let's drop in with Kelly Booth Jackson. Kelly,
Hi, Mercedes.
how are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
So nice to have you on. This is like such a fun series. I had probably at least 2 people that you know from your generation. I had Feet Banks on and Bo
Mhm.
Harris.
Oh, bow and feet.
So you're in good company. This is like a really fun
Yay.
series for me. Are you ready to drop in?
I think so.
Okay, so we start with 10 rapid fire questions that are never rapid. It's just so everyone gets to know you a little bit more. Number 1. Dun dun dun. It's the easiest one. Where in the world are you today?
Squamish, BC.
Awesome. That's
My
where you live.
hometown.
That's your hometown now.
My new
Uh,
hometown.
this is my favorite question, and I'm pretty sure I'll know the answer. Well, maybe I'll be a little bit different than I think. Number 2, if you had to choose, or like what is closest to your heart, Whistler or Blackcomb?
Whistler.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get it right?
Well, in my head, I was like, oh, I think she's gonna say Whistler, but at the same time, I was like, oh, but she does spend some time on Blackcomb. Like, unlike my family, right?
Only more recently, but I mean,
Okay.
Dusty's was on Whistler, so
I know. I can't wait to get into the Dusty's, like, memories. Okay, number 3, Whistler hangout when you were a kid.
oh God, the arcade.
Okay, that's what Bo
Right?
and, Feet said. So which arcade? Because the old school one in the conference center, right?
In the basement of the conference center.
And so,
Wait, did you miss that? Were you
no,
too
no, no,
young
no,
for
no,
the
no, no.
arcade?
I was there. I was
Okay.
there. But there are like a fair few, a generation older than me that I think they, or younger than me, that they wouldn't have been there.
You missed it,
And
yeah.
and it's so funny because Feet worked in tourism for Tourism Whistler, and the offices are there now. So it's
Yeah,
super weird to walk in there.
that's what he said. I had dinner with him the other night, and yeah, he said it's weird to see offices where we used to hang out and, do bad things. We
Okay,
were
so
great kids.
so that was your hangout when you were younger. Where would you hang out now?
Now? Well, is there any question? Dusty's.
Still Dusty's. I love
I
this.
think so.
That's good, that's good. Number 4, are you a morning person or a night owl?
I would say both.
Yeah,
Yeah, ski
okay,
season, definitely morning.
okay. Yeah, you got to be. That's
Mhm.
fair.
You gotta be on
Um,
by
okay,
6:15.
since and driving from Squamish too. So for our listeners and viewers that don't know, Squamish is about what, like a 20-30 minute drive away on a good day?
35, 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Just south of Whistler. So there's a lot of commuters, and you are one of them to come up for work. And on a POW day. Okay, if you now you're a morning person, this is number 5. How would you start your day?
Start my day with, yoga and a smoothie.
Nice, nice. What do you put in your smoothie?
Protein powder, spinach, blueberries,
Okay,
fiber, hemp
yeah,
seeds,
winning.
and water.
Okay. Well, you when we were just talking earlier and you caught me like I just chugged I think they call it like mud water now, but I just make it myself with like turmeric, cinnamon, chia, and ashwagandha. And that just like kind of starts off my day nicely. So it sounds like
That
your
sounds
smoothie.
super healthy.
It's it is, but you saw my face. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, almost puckers your cheeks.
Yeah, totally, totally. Number 6. Would you prefer to read a book or watch TV, Netflix, any streaming kind of thing?
Read a
R
book.
Read a book. And do you often read a book?
Not as often as I would like.
I
I
think
don't
that's
watch
normal.
TV, though.
You don't watch TV at all?
No time.
Yeah, fair, totally fair.
I try.
Okay. Um, Number 7, this might be one of the more challenging questions. Name not to scare you. Name one thing that you've learned the hard way.
Oh, wow. In life or in Whistler?
All of the above. Doesn't matter,
All of the
anything.
above. Oh, I don't know. I think I spent my teen years trying to keep up with the boys,
Yes,
and there was nothing easy about that, but it taught me to be tough,
for
never
sure.
complain, or you
Right?
get dropped.
That's totally fair. I think, like, trying to, not keep up with the boys drinking sometimes was my
Right.
downfall.
Ah, you
Anyways, 'kay.
you
Go
and
ahead.
Feet are fun, though, when you're keeping up with each other on the mic.
Oh, yeah, thank
You make it
you.
so much fun.
We had a really good time. We're talking about the, Worcester Blackham Foundation, gala where Feet and I get to, be on the microphone together, and it's a good time.
MC. Yeah.
Okay, number 8, because in the intro I said you do so many sports, do you
Hmm.
have a favorite?
Skiing.
Yeah, you still love it.
I still love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How many years has it been now?
Uh, well, you're asking me to date myself. 47 years.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. We can take that out.
That's okay.
Um,
That's that's a
Skiing,
long time.
that's a good answer. That is a long time. My dad was, 70 he said, like, 77 years, and he's 79 now. He's like, "I think 77's enough."
Who? Your dad?
My dad, yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
think my dad stopped at 72.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
I miss your dad up here.
I
Miss
miss
me
my
seeing
dad
my
up
dad up
there
here.
too, and he did it without warning. He
I
just
know.
he came up skiing with Byron and I. We went to the top.
Yeah.
We skied from top down to Dusty's. He picked his skis up off the snow. He put them together and he said, "That's it. That's my last run." I said, "What do you mean that's your last run?" That was
Oh
it.
my
Took his
god.
last run with Byron, his grandson. He knew his knees hurt. He
Yeah.
still
Oh my god,
wanted
that's
to
gonna, like, make
golf,
me
and
cry.
I know. I know, he was such a fixture up there,
Wow.
our parents,
They
all
really
skiing
would, yeah.
together.
I know, it was weird not to have my parents up there this year. This was their first year not up a mountain, and I was like,
Oh,
but
really?
I'm also, like, kinda happy because I feel like I just wanna be around them like a bubble, like, "No one touch my parents. I'll
I know.
kill you if you touch my parents."
And ultimately, that's one of the biggest reasons my dad stopped. His knees were hurting, but he didn't wanna get hit and
100%.
injured, and it
100%.
just the hill got so busy for them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's way different than what it was back in the day.
Totally.
Um, I'd love to get more into that too. Number 9, there's only one more question after this. Would you Are you lakes or mountains? And it's okay to say both.
Both. But mountains in the winter, obviously, but
Yeah.
I'm ocean.
Ocean. I knew you were gonna say that because
Ocean
of
girl.
sailing, right?
Yeah.
Bowen?
Yeah, and Bowen and swimming. I love swimming in the ocean.
Well,
My mom swims in
obviously.
the ocean almost every day, all year.
That always blows my mind. She is like a legend in my eyes for doing that. Her
And
and Uncle
then
John. Uncle John, whenever he's up at Hernando, he'll do that too.
oh, yes.
Like, every morning, they walk all the way down those stairs, go swimming, and then I'm like this, like, pansy who's like, "Oh, it's really cold, but I really wanna get in."
I know the 70-year-olds are showing us up, Mercedes. We were
They do.
so tough keeping up with the boys, and now we can't keep up with them, and they're 70.
I know. It's
What
so
happened?
true. I don't know. We got soft. We
We
gotta
got
go toughen
some.
up. Alright, last question of this never rapid fire. What's one core memory that you may think of from your childhood in Whistler?
And Whistler. Probably pressing our noses against the glass at Nasty Jack's or Dusty's, like, begging to go home because we weren't allowed in the bar back then, and our parents were in there having a good old time, drinking with their friends, with each other, and we were tobogganing
Until
until I would pee my snow pants because, I mean, we just weren't allowed inside.
oh my gosh. I don't have oh, hold on, I just lost you. She will come back.
Am I back?
I got you. I got you back. No stress, no stress.
Uh,
Um, okay,
yeah.
for those that don't know, you brought up Nasty Jacks,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that I probably was like 3, like 2 or something.
Yeah.
Um,
So
explain.
Nasty Jack's was like the Dusties of the village, though. Nasty Jack's was, right beside the Longhorn, where the current Longhorn is now,
Okay.
and there was a gravel parking lot right beside Nasty Jack's,
Yeah.
and that was, like, where you paid, like, the big bucks. I don't know, it was probably $2 to park right at the hill. That was, like, a
Okay.
big treat, otherwise, you were in the day lots. But anyway, yeah, we tobogganed a lot
I
at the
love it.
bottom of the hill outside Nasty Jack's
Oh,
because we lived in
so funny.
Alpine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. I just love those, like, old memories of Whistler and, like, the core people, and we talked about this on the mountain, like, our parents have so many amazing stories, and, like, we also have amazing stories, but theirs must be, like, so different. I might have to do an older generation,
Oh my
uh,
gosh, we have to
series.
capture those stories
Yeah,
before they forget them,
I know.
you
True, true,
know?
true. True,
They have
totally.
so many that haven't been told.
Yeah, it's wild. Okay, that was the rapid fire. Boom, boom, boom. We made
Oof,
it.
we made it.
No stress. So I have like you have so many accolades and you're such an amazing skier and I do really love getting to get out on the hill with you, but I'm going to bring up a couple photos that you sent because a lot of people
Oh my
if they're
god, that's
watching this photo is like what degree would you say the Sudan Couloir is just for our listeners that are listening like
well, the start there was about, uh,
it's
that's an
steep.
that's a 9 that's like
I don't know my degrees either. It's very
straight
s it's
down.
just think of a face of I don't know, what degree would that be?
That's a not straight
Uh,
down,
straight down. It's
straight down.
literally straight down
It's
and,
like
like,
yeah,
you are in a speed suit, and
mhm.
I feel like you're about to be into a tuck.
No, the top turns were pretty tight. The
Yeah.
ruts were pretty much head high.
Okay.
So the top was a pretty tight GS, and then it opened up into Super G, past the whale tail, and down into Jersey. And the finish was at the bottom of Jersey, like in between Jersey and Glacier Chair.
And I can tell you this, that I did that when they brought it back as a forerunner on a snowboard, and
I
my
know,
legs were on fire. So, like,
I
how how were you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's shorter than peak to valley, but it's tiring because you're fighting the hill. I mean, I wish I could say that, like, it's of, like, 45, that drop
Yeah.
in,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then most of Sudan is
It's steep. That's a
it's
double black. For anyone that's, like, coming to Whistler, that's, like, the Couloir is just one that everyone kinda wants to tick off their box and be like,
yeah,
"I did the Sudan Couloir," and you're like,
totally.
"I raced it and I won it."
It was fun. It
Was
was
that
really fun.
I do have a question. Was that, now that I think about it, because when Whistler and Blackcomb were separate entities, was it
Yeah.
like Sudan Couloir race and then Peak to Valley race? Were those the battling races going on?
I think those would be the 2 bigger ones, and then there were all those other little ones. Because in those days, the bar races were the bars all had a team and they competed against each other, and that was a big deal. So there was, like, the Garfinkel's Cup and the
Oh.
Savage Beagle Cup and you know, th and they all had to have the winning team, the Tapleys,
No
Tap
way.
yeah, yeah, that was the Longhorn Challenge, yeah.
Okay, so they all had their own races, or they all, like, did one
They
race
would
and raced against each other?
they would put on a race, they would host a race,
Yeah.
and they all, competed with each other to have the fastest team
No way, I
all
love
season.
that.
Yeah,
How do we not bring that back?
I know, that was fun. That
That's
was fun. The bars were
hilarious.
so competitive. I mean, they
Yeah.
had ex-national team. They did anything to have a winning team. I worked at Tapley's before I was 19
No,
because
you
they
did not.
wanted to. Yeah.
'Cause they wanted you on your team? On their
Yeah,
team? Oh,
yeah.
I love it, I love it. No, I'm not saying anything. It's
No,
different
we won't.
ownership now.
We'll cut that part out.
Too funny. Okay, I do wanna talk about you getting a little bit more extreme,
Oh,
like,
gee.
so right now, if you're just listening, we're looking at, like, a skin tight is that like a BC national a
That's
BC team outfit?
that's Canadian Nationals, that's, Lake Louise.
Okay,
That was
and
I think that was a Swiss suit or yeah, I don't know what suit that was.
is that this okay, this is a red and yellow suit, like, kinda tiger stripey, and she's got a full face old school helmet on, and, there's 2 photos, one she's, like, in the air tucking, and the other one she's, like, on the ground turning, looking magnificent. But is this the outfit your dad wore to the
Ah,
so you won the Peak to Valley race, and there was a bet going on. Can you elaborate on that?
oh my gosh. So all our dads got together and they had a team,
Yeah.
and, of course, they celebrated in Dusty's after the race, and then
Yeah.
that night was the awards up in the Roundhouse,
Yep, yep, yep.
and they won their category. So they dared each other in Dusty's after a pint or 2,
Or 5.
uh, to accept their medals in their downhill suits.
And would they have worn downhill suits to race in the
They
Peak to
wore their
Valley?
suits to race, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
McDougal,
Yeah,
your dad,
yeah,
my dad,
yeah.
yeah, who was the 4th member?
Wouldn't it have been a
Gord
girl?
McDougal,
Did they need a
Ron,
girl?
no, no, oh, maybe Gordy Annan,
Oh my god, all
can't
in a speed
remember, we
suit?
should pull up that picture, that was funny. So, as they do, they're silly.
Yeah.
Yep,
They
that
wore
wasn't
the
embarrassing at all. Our dads up there in their downhill
They're
suits.
full downhill suits. Okay, but let's also explain the Peak to Valley. So, the Sudan Couloir race is on Blackcomb, and it has been resurrected for the World Ski and Snowboard Festival. And then the Peak to Valley has just continually been on. And
Mhm.
that you tell me, because 'cause I've never been in it. My brother's only foreran it. I've
Really?
never foreran it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Oh,
that's a
you
lot of turns for a snowboarder. How many gates is it?
oh my gosh, over 100,
Yeah, thank
maybe,
you.
yeah,
I think
I
like
don't know.
170 or something like that.
Yeah, 186 maybe?
Yeah, to be
Something like that.
precise.
changes from, by a gate or two. John
I love
Kindry
it.
would be the one to answer that question.
Yeah, for sure, for
Should
sure.
we pull him in on the call? He's
Phone a
down on the
friend.
farm.
John.
He's the course setter. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it starts in the just below the saddle.
Yeah, so that's, like, at
It
the top of Whistler pretty much.
very top, yeah, peak
Mhm.
chair, and then it just follows the mountain down towards Creekside, down Upper Francis, Lower Francis, and ends down at Dusty's, of course.
Yeah, the place to be. So,
Yeah,
like,
it's
when
about, like, 6.5 minutes long.
if you're you
Well, it ranges from about 5 to 7 minutes. So, like, yeah, it
Oh,
depends how they
really?
set it, depends on the year. But, yeah, about 5.5, 6 minutes, you're on the course. Turning
Wow.
left, right.
Left, right, left. See, I think I would wanna do it on skis if I did it.
You should.
I
Mercedes.
know, I should.
Yeah. Bring the
Someone
skis back.
someone needs me on their team. They just
Let's
don't know it yet.
let's do a Whistler Kids team.
Ooh, that would be super fun. Bo?
Mm. Bo.
'Cause they're oh, yeah, that would be fun. Okay, talk about that one. I also wanna bring up that you have been in the newspaper a lot because of
Oh,
all your
geez.
accolades.
Oh,
So
geez.
here we have a clipping from the '96 newspaper. Would that have been, like, the peak?
The peak or
Probably.
the
Oh, no,
no, the
it's
Whistler
the Whistler
question.
question.
The Whistler question.
Yes,
Yeah.
because the RIP Whistler question melded with the Peak newspaper now because that's what's happening with magazines and, newspapers.
Yeah, we didn't have the peak back then.
Oh, yeah. So this is another photo of you going down the Sudan Couloir, just I mean, it really if you're a skier and you're on a green run, there's absolutely no way that this photo that we're looking at would not blow your mind because she is, like, just it looks like there's nothing underneath her, and her ski tips are just pointing down. Do
I
you
think
remember this?
I do. I
Okay,
mean,
wait. So
that's
did
what we
you
call dropping in, Mercedes.
Yes!
Yeah.
You're literally, like, so would you just have, like, pulled out of the gate and then, like, airborne into the couloir?
Yeah, into a turn right away, so you're kind of bracing for that first turn. You wanna push out as fast as possible, but you're into a turn right away, so
And you gotta
yeah.
get through
I mean
and if you miss a gate, you're disqualified.
yeah, if you miss a gate, you're disqualified.
Donezo. Absolutely donezo.
It was
Anyways,
fun.
I gotta bring up just, like, for the viewers, because we do, have this on
Oh,
Shaw TV, some of these
wow.
photos are just so amazing. This is you in a tuck on Whistler Mountain, and then one of these photos, which one is it? You've been to Mammoth.
That was, yeah, when nope, that's Peak to Valley. That's
You've
yeah.
been to Mammoth. So this
That
is
was
you is that slalom?
yeah,
Okay, she's
for
about to hit a
UBC.
gate. She's about to hit a gate. She's got a bib number 88. She is looking good, and, like, you just have good style, I have to tell you that much.
Thanks, bud. That's,
Blonde
the
hair flowing.
university nationals in the States, because we didn't have a tour in Canada. We don't have a university,
Yeah.
ski tour, so we would go to the States every weekend.
Every weekend,
Mhm.
and do their whole so that's so rad. Because I ended up living in Mammoth for a while, like, for the early season and then spring.
They had a good, pipe, didn't they?
They had a really good half they still do.
Yeah,
It's, like, the mecca for park for sure. I love it
I
there.
bet. It's a
Oh,
huge mountain.
man. It is huge. It
Oh.
is huge, but and it's high. It's
Mhm.
8,000 feet. That's like the top
Mhm.
of Whistler, really. Well, higher than the top of Whistler. It's like
Higher.
I didn't even notice that when I was younger going there, and now if I go back, I'd be like,
Right?
too funny. I do wanna touch on some, picnics that we've had together and
Oh.
birthdays on the mountain because our families are pretty awesome. We can't deny that. There's a reason that your dad's my godfather.
Mm. We
Do
had
you
some good times.
do you remember any of the, like, birthdays and picnics?
I mean, I just remember I definitely remember our annual Christmas Day ski, all the
Okay.
families.
Yes.
Picnics like in the spring,
Mhm.
birthdays. Do you have a picture that's gonna jog my memory?
No, I was just thinking, like, my dad always had his birthday because he's in April, so it'd be springtime, and
Who
then
had his birthday?
my dad,
Oh, yeah.
and so I know you guys would all be there, and I don't have photos of them, but, like, they would do that tradition before the peak had been built,
Oh, yeah.
and I think they ended up, like did they helicopter up? I don't know if they would have hiked.
Well, T-bars were in.
Yeah, so would they have hiked up around or something like that?
Where were
Anyway,
where
up the
where
peak
would
when
we
there
have
was
the
no
picnic?
peak chair. And then when there was no Harmony chair, we would go out to, like, Harmony, and I think we had, like, his 50th out there with, like, sparklers and champagne and
Oh,
just,
yeah.
like, all around good times.
Your mom. Yeah. Your mom would make sure everyone's having a grand old time. Bless her.
Oh, it's
That just makes me
true.
think of Alex.
I know. Hey, can you talk about the piece that's, behind you? It's this big wooden,
Oh.
for the listeners that can't see it, there's, like in Kelly's house is this huge piece of wood. What is it, like 4 by 3?
That is, yeah, you're probably right with the measurements. So that was carved by George Dufour,
Yeah.
brother of Bob Dufour, who was,
Oh,
yeah, our GM for how many years?
I feel like he almost made 50.
Yeah, yeah.
50 years
So my
this
dad
year.
grew up with them in the east near Saint Sever,
Yeah,
and that's a carving that George did for my dad's ski shop in Montreal, the Trading Post, of
yeah.
Ingemar Stenmark, who was, I believe, at the time already the winningest um, alpine skier of all time. Oh, I'm fading again. Oop. Uh, and he held the record until last season. 86 World Cup wins with
Amazing.
only technical events, slalom and GS.
Oh,
Michaela Schifrin
yeah.
caught him this season.
So
Lindsay
wild.
came close with 84 wins.
Yeah.
80, yeah. Uh, yeah.
So cool. So it's a
So
big
there's
wood carving, and it's like a turn of a skier. It looks so sick, just carved out of this beautiful piece of wood.
in GS. Yeah. So that was above our fireplace, as you probably remember, growing
Yeah.
up in
Yeah.
Alpine.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to inherit it.
So cool. Oh, man. So what are, any other Whistler kid memories that you have that you think everyone should know about? I mean, we've really touched on a lot, like
God. It was
Dusty's.
just so free range. I mean, we were just
Mhm.
wild. Like, we were feral, We came in when
Totally.
when it got dark. We, uh, just tobogganing, like endless tobogganing, and
Yeah.
if you I just remember if you got thirsty, you drank out of the creek. Like, there was, yeah,
It's
Alpine.
so awesome.
It was awesome. It was awesome. I remember when we were really young, we lived on Needles and the Kellys lived on Drifter, and there were no houses between the two streets yet. So we had a path connecting our two homes. And then
Yes.
they started building cabins. And we were like, what are you doing? This is our trail. Excuse me.
For sure. And now you go to Alpine and most of the houses are being torn down, and I'm like, "Oh, it's so
I
sad."
know. Our
It's
cabin is still there, the original.
yes, I'm
My
happy to
dad
hear
built
that.
it with the neighbor one summer
I love
in the
that.
early 70s.
Oh, so awesome. So many
Yeah.
good memories, and it's funny, I just, like, saw this thing on Instagram where this guy, obviously, like, male model, shirt off, being like, "So why, did you guys
Oh,
drink
yeah.
out of hoses?" And then this lady comes on his business, like she's like, "Who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell him that
Yeah.
we were outside kids?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
Sinks
"Yeah,
were
we
not an option. You drank out of the hose.
I thought that was so on point, and it's, like, very Whistler kid too, like, yeah, drink
Oh,
out of the
yeah.
creek. You're gonna be fine.
You're gonna be totally fine. Yeah. Yeah, and it's true, like, I think they kind of forgot about it. It's like, "Oh, yeah, the kids, like, let's kids need to come home because we need to get up for skiing tomorrow morning."
Oh, so awesome. Oh my gosh. Kelly, I can't wait to see you on the hill this winter and hopefully in the ocean this summer. Anything else that
Absolutely.
you would like to share with the listeners and the viewers?
Well, I mean, I just really have to take us back to this season and connecting with you on that perfect
Oh my
day. The grooming was so perfect, and I can't believe how fast you are.
Oh.
I have never seen a snowboarder straight line lower Dave downhill like that. I could not catch you. I mean, that was impressive.
That was like perfect,
It was
like
perfect groom. It was so much fun.
conditions.
We had to do it again
Yeah,
and
I
again.
would have done that all day. I would have done that.
Same. That was
That was,
amazing.
like, honestly about that was maybe one of my all-time most favorite moments on the hill,
Same.
and I appreciate
Oh,
you because
Mercedes.
that was so, so great,
That
and, like,
was
just friends having a good time. That's what it's all about,
totally.
and your poor other friend on, what was he's from Texada Island?
Oh, yeah, Justin.
Oh,
He's
bless I
fast.
think he is fast.
He's fast.
I
He
remember
wanted to
him.
keep up to you.
He to
But, I mean, how special is it to have Dave Murray like that? Our old run, that run has not
Oh my
changed since we were
gosh.
kids.
It
And
is
you
a
know you can
thing.
make just, like, 1, 2 turns, and
Yeah,
the grooming's so perfect all the
the
way to
grooming.
Dusty's.
I mean,
That was magic.
I've only haven't seen that very often, so,
No,
ugh,
that's special.
that's like a dream come true. You can tell we're still passionate about it,
I
obviously. I've
know.
got, like, tears in my eyes being so excited about, like, oh, a couple runs we did.
Yeah. We'll
Oh,
do
well,
it again this season.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Kelly, thank you so much for dropping in today.
Thanks for having me on. Love you, bud.
Love you. Thanks so much for dropping in today. You can find everything you want to know about Dropping In with Mercedes at droppinginwithmercedes.com. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Thanks DJ Kenosis for the music and my mom for the intro voice.